Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, I'm going to be showing you a brand new Druddigon card, which is going to be coming out in Dragonstorm, and we don't have an exact release for this, but it's going to be the first week of August when it comes out in our Sun and Moon 7 set. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I am feeling pretty gosh darn good about that. Our translation for this has become fairly regular fairly quickly, comes from limitlesstcg.com from the lovely David Hochmann. So let's take a quick look at the basics. Now, being a dragon Pokemon means you're not hitting anything for weakness, which is kind of sad. I get it, but there are a bunch of advantages nowadays to being a dragon Pokemon. You get access to Devoured Field, which means you do an extra 10 damage to the active. You get access to Altaria, the new card I profiled just the other day, that means you do 20 more damage to the active for each Altaria on your bench. I'll pop a link to that video in the description. And you get Zinnia, another card we looked at the other day, which, as long as you had a Pokemon KO'd the previous turn, means you can search for 2 basic energy and attach them to one of your dragon Pokemon. That means that this Druddigon has got all these advantages of being a dragon Pokemon, even if you're not hitting anything for weakness. Now, being a fairy Pokemon means it is weak to Gardevoir, which could be a bit of a pain, but you've only got 110 HP. This isn't big. 110 HP means that Zoroark GX will get an easy one-hit KO, as will Golisopod with a first impression. You really want to be up to 130. 110 is not great. Good news is retreat cost of 1 is very low, so at least we've got that. Now, in terms of the ability here, this is actually pretty nice. It says that if you are in the active and are damaged by an attack, even if it knocks you out, the defending Pokemon takes 3 damage counters. And if that sounds familiar, it should do, ladies and gentlemen. This is not the first Druddigon that's had this ability. In fact, the very first Druddigon ever, back in Noble Victories, had this same ability. Now, to be fair, the Druddigon from Noble Victories only put 2 damage counters on, rather than 3. But other than that, this is the same ability. Now, to be fair, it's Rough Skin, and those of you that play the video game will know that Rough Skin is an ability which deals 1/8 of a Pokemon's maximum HP back to it as recoil damage if it dares to attack a Pokemon with Rough Skin. And would you believe it? Druddigon is one of only 6 Pokemon in the video games which can actually have the ability Rough Skin. So I suppose it only makes sense that these Druddigon keep coming back with the ability Rough Skin. Nice that it does 3 damage counters rather than 2. And this is almost a reason to play this Pokemon. We have seen Pokemon with this ability, or at least a very similar one played before. The previous Druddigon did see play when it was around. Now, to be fair, it had a decent attack for colourless energy, but it still saw a bit of play, as did Quillfish with the ability Counter-Attack Quills, which did 2 damage counters, rather than 3, which Druddigon does. And it was a basic, and Druddigon's a basic. But again, Quillfish had an attack for a double colourless energy, 20 damage plus poison. The previous Druddigon had an attack for 3 colourless energy that did 60 and stopped retreat. We'll look at the attack in a minute, although as always there are timestamps in the description. You can flick straight to the attack right this second if you feel so inclined. I mean, you know, don't, because I'll be sad that you missed some of the video, but you can if you really want to and you want to hurt my feelings and make me into a sad panda. So especially with a retreat cost of only 1, there is an argument for playing this Pokemon just for the ability, to buy you a bit of time, do a bit of cheeky extra damage, or even use it with a hit and run Pokemon like a Alolan Sandslash, because, you know, this could be fun. And speaking of fun, the last video I actually put up, which I only put up about an hour ago because busy day, work, antenatal classes, etc., was about Dragonclaw. And Dragonclaw is an item card that does exactly the same thing as Druddigon's ability. If the Pokemon's in the active and gets damaged by an attack, it takes 3 damage counters. So we can combine Druddigon here with Dragonclaw, and if a Pokemon does damage to Druddigon, it takes 6 damage counters. Now, that's right up there with Bursting Balloon, except as I pointed out in my Dragon Claw video, Bursting Balloon got automatically discarded at the end of your turn, whereas Dragon Claw does not. And I'm hoping you're starting to see where we're going with this at this point. Really good ability. Use it with Dragon Claw. 6 damage counters is just flat out enough to KO something like a Zorua. Now, Zorua's not going to actually do any damage to you, but you get the idea here. It brings Zoroark GX down to 150 HP. It brings Boswell GX down to 130 HP. It makes a big difference, but as I've said, and I cannot stress this enough, this is only going to work if we have a decent attack on here. And the answer is yes, we do. But it's a dragon Pokemon, so the attack cost is awkward. 3 energy, 1 fire, 1 water, 1 colorless, 100 damage. Now, let's start off with a damage. Let's start on a positive. 100 is good. Now, out of context, 100 is not great. But 100 damage, you can use Devoured Field. It goes up to 110. You can use Altaria. It goes up to 120. Both, it goes up to 130, and of course you can always use multiple Altaria. And of course you've got Choice Band to do an extra 30, or you've got Dragon Claw to do an extra 30, while your Rough Skin ability, I'm assuming it's called Rough Skin because why would it not be, also does 30. So this 100 damage is a little bit misleading. It's not really 100 damage. There are not that many situations here where you're actually going to only be doing 100 damage with this. Which means that, let's say you hit with a Devoured Field against a Tapu Lele, then that means that Tapu Lele will be KO'd if you've got a Dragon Claw attached, because that's right up to 170. That's without using an Altaria or something along those lines. This is not a brilliant attack, but in the context of a Pokemon with this ability, with the ability to use Devoured Field and Altaria, this 100 damage adds up to EX and GX KOs very quickly. Now, you have only got 110 HP, and you have got to put free energy on there, and let's talk about the energy cost here. It sucks. Now, we should have a Double Dragon Energy reprint. As far as I'm aware, it's not happening. We've had no confirmation. We've seen the set list from Dragonstorm, and you would think that would be where it would be re-released. And it's not getting Double Dragon Energy. Maybe it's a secret rare, but I'm not 100% convinced it actually will be. That, ladies and gentlemen, means we're in a bit of a predicament in terms of getting the energy on there. Now, the one thing we do have at the moment is Zinnia. Zinnia is a supporter card whereby, as I said previously, if you have a Pokemon KO during your opponent's previous turn, search your deck for 2 basic energy and attach them to a dragon Pokemon. That will help you out here. But you've still got to be playing a mixture of fire and water energy. You've still got to use your only supporter for the turn to get the energy on Druddigon. You've still got to attach another energy as well. And you've still got to put all of that onto 110 HP Pokemon that will probably end up getting KO'd pretty gosh darn quickly. And that is a little bit of a pain. And I feel like I'm saying this about Dragon Pokemon all the time at the moment. And honestly, ladies and gentlemen, it's starting to get a little bit annoying. Really? Really? Why does this have to keep happening? We have Altaria, which is good for Dragon Pokemon. We've got Dragonite GX, which is good for Dragon Pokemon. We've even got Zinnia, but why can we not just have Double Dragon Energy? Why can't we just have Double Dragon Energy? Seriously, this would fix so many problems. Yes, I know that Druddigon is a basic Pokemon, so you can use Max Elixir, but that's awkward. The previous Druddigon was really good and saw a fair bit of play, especially at the beginning, but it had an attack for colorless energy and that saved it. This new one doesn't. It has a super awkward attack cost, And that's really sad. Oh yeah, the other Druddigon also didn't have any weakness. I mean, it only had 100 HP, but even so, I want to like this Druddigon, and I do like the ability when combined with Dragon Claw, so I'm going to give it an ordinary, everyday, run-of-the-mill, garden variety, bog-standard free Wassies, because I do think it could be a fun tech in some decks. But why can we not just have double Dragon Energy back, or less ridiculous attack costs on our Dragon Pokemon? If this was for free colourless energy and you could use double colourless, I would actually be leaning towards this as a much more playable card. As it is, it's just another Dragon card that could be so much better than it actually is. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to hear from you guys, so let me know in the comments section. Tell me what you think about this Druddigon. Do you think it will see play? What decks could you see it being used in? Go nuts, but be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and so on, you can do so by going to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.